From Anshei Sphard-Beth Emeth congregation, it's time to take 10 minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein.
Welcome to a discussion of Noach, not so bad, ? We know that the question of whether Noach was good or bad or how good he was arises from the very first pasuk, Tzadik haya b'dorotav, he was righteous in his generation. There's a debate among the rabbis. Was he righteous in his generation, but in another generation he would not have been righteous? Or was he righteous even in his generation, and in a better generation he would have been even better? But this question as to whether Noah is good or not, the Torah brings it up in another context as well. Generally we assume that whether he was particularly good or he was as good as Abraham or not as good as Abraham, but the idea that he was good, we usually take for granted. Why was he saved? Because he was good. Comes the Torah based on the Zohar. And the Torah was a Spanish and Portuguese Rabbi Avraham Sevang. He says, when it says that God saved Noach and he dried up the land and brought them back, God remembered the Noach and all the animals. Firstly, why does it say all the animals? You could remember Noah. The animals is not so important. No, there's not that much difference in Noah and the animals. He was sort of on the same level. And why does it say Elohim? Why does it say that the name of God, which is associated with justice, it should use the word of mercy? God had mercy on them and saved them. And he dried up the land and brought them out. No, it says the word Elohim, judge, because Noah is being judged. Why? Because the Sphard-Beth says, Noah chata b'shvil shelo hitpalel al doro. Noah made the famous mistake that he didn't pray for his generation. When he was told, build the ark, he wasn't supposed to say, oh, well, how big should it be? What are the measures? Oh, okay, sure, let me get to it. No, he should have said, you're going to destroy the world? Wait a second. Let's talk about this. And he should pray for the people as Abraham did for the people of Sodom and Moshe did for the Jews. So because he didn't pray, therefore, the name of God used here is one of judgment. Somehow God judged them to get out, but also he judged them for something else. Usually we assume that the 12 months and 10 days that Noach spent in the ark, again the rain started on the 17th of the second month, and then the next year in the first month, it dried up on the 27th. So on the second month, so 10 days later on the second month, this idea that there was a year being in the ark, you would say it was a year of judgment and punishment for the wicked people who died, and it was a year of salvation for Noah and his people. Comes the Torah and says, no, it was a year of punishment for Noah and his family. Because they were stuck. They were stuck in that ark, closed in there almost like in jail for 12 months. And we have a principle. The judgment of the wicked is 12 months. That's why we say Kaddish for 11 months. We hope none of our parents are wicked, so none of them would need Kaddish for 12 months. But we say Kaddish for 11 months in case they had any sins. We want to ameliorate those sins. So there's a notion. The wicked are judged for 12 months. And Noah and his animals were judged for 12 months. They suffered for 12 months. They were rained down with sun, with cold, with snow, just like in purgatory. So this was not an idyllic kind of a thing. Don't imagine the boat of Noah, the ark. Oh, it's so beautiful, the rainbow and all the animals and everyone's having a great time. It's like a zoo in there. No, it's like a zoo in a negative sense. It is a very trying time. Noah was bitten by the animals. It's a very difficult kind of thing. The Chidushei Harim has a similar kind of an idea, it touches on this as well, saying that the Tevat Noach, the boat, also reminds us of the word Teva in later Hebrew, means the letters, the words of Torah, the words of Tefillah. That how is Noah saved? He was saved by the words of prayer. If not, Noah also would perish. There are those who say that it rained only for 40 days. They were stuck in there. The flood was for a year and 10 days, but it rained for 40 days. Why 40 days? Like 40 is a number associated with the mikveh, the measure of sa'in, the measure of, sort of like rabbinic gallons of sorts that have to go into a mikveh is 40. They were there for 40 days to cleanse themselves like a mikveh, just like the Jews got the Torah and Moshe was up on Sinai for 40 days, a 40-day period of cleansing. The punishment, the flood, was a cleansing, a mikveh experience for Noah. Noah also needed atonement. The animals, even the ones that were saved, they needed atonement in this ark. As a matter of fact, the Ishbitzer says that the idea of the ark was to help him work on certain bad character traits that he had, anger and other things. And he didn't learn his lesson. When he came out, he got angry at his son, and he got drunk. And the kofar, the different coverings of the ark were all meant to atone and to make him not to be angry and to improve his character, says Yizbitzer, but he didn't learn. So the idea of the ark was a reform school. It was a way of reforming his character and his personality. This idea of whether Noah was, the great Noah who was heroic and who was a righteous man who was saved because he was so righteous, or whether this is the Noah who's quite questionable, who's really not that much better than the people who died, who could have died as well in the flood, who was punished with this ark not being a salvation only, but also being a punishment. This question as to whether that's the way we look at it, or whether you look at it as more of Noah, the great hero, the great tzaddik. This question also hinges on the word tzohar, that they had a window or a light on the ark. If it's a light, then he can't see out the ark. It's dark in there. It's totally closed up. If it's a window, then he has a right to look outside. Well, we know with the story of the wife of Lot, she was not allowed to look back. Lot was not allowed to look back. They were not righteous enough to look at others who were being punished. Was Noah righteous enough to look at those who were being punished? If we say it was a stone, precious stone, then no. There was no window. He couldn't look at the others because he too needed to suffer. He too needed to be punished. He too had character flaws he needed to work on. But if there was a window, that means that he was of a different ilk than those in the water who were drowning. He was righteous and they were not. What is the status of Noah? Sometimes we look at others and we say, look at those people. Sometimes, God forbid, we speak lashon hara, slander against others, and we say, those people, they sin, they don't do this, they don't keep this mitzvah, they go against that mitzvah. And we are the righteous ones, we are the Noahs of our time. We always have to remember that the guilt spreads around. If others are not keeping Torah and mitzvahs properly, it's our fault. Those who care about Torah and mitzvahs, those who observe the Torah and mitzvahs, supposedly, it's our responsibility to share with others, whether it's rebuke, education, whatever the method, cajoling, bringing people closer to God and closer to the Torah. That's our responsibility as well. Noah cannot look back, look out the window and say, well, I'm a good guy and everyone else has a problem. We're responsible for the society around us. There's a link between those who are around us and those on the inside. Was Noah this great figure who was saved by God because he's so wonderful? Or was Noah a person, in many ways, as flawed as those on the outside? But he had certain righteous qualities and he was saved, but not before. He had to be cleansed, he had to be purified, he had to learn about the tevot, about the words of Torah and tefillah. He had to repair his character. He had to suffer purgatory of sorts for this year, and then and only then would he be worthy of coming out. Even the high priest on the Yom Kippur, the high holidays which we just emerged from, even the high priest had to bring sacrifices. Because never can someone say, I am righteous. Everyone else around me are sinners and need to be atoned for. Even Noah had to suffer himself to be worthy to be saved while everyone else perished. This should be a sobering thought, so we consider our relationship and our responsibility toward those around us. Thank you for joining us here at the Anshei Sphard-Beth Emeth congregation for a discussion of Noach. Join us each week for the Parsha and various holidays. And thanks to Jason Lefkowitz, our producer. Thank you.
This has been 10 Minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein. To learn more, visit asb.org.